The Flash is a student forum for students produced by students. Students make all content decisions, research, write, shoot, and broadcast news stories they deem important to the Eastview community. Stay tuned.
Good morning, Eastview. I'm Cooper.
And I'm Belle.
And you're watching The Flash. Our first story is about how you can zoom in from anywhere.
And our next story is about the past 364 days of our school year.
And our last story is about the positives that we've taken away from this past year with the pandemic. Stay tuned for The Flash. Hey Belle, why did you choose to come to school?
I chose to come back to school so I could connect with teachers and friends in class.
That's a really good reason. With more students staying home this time around, Thomas is finding out you can Zoom from anywhere. He has the story.
Most people see COVID-19 as a negative thing that has happened, but not myself and some other Eastview students. We saw it as an opportunity. We can now distance learn, which means we could increase the distance. I went to Arizona with my brother and backpacked in the Grand Canyon, which was awesome. But here's a couple other Eastview scholars that have taken advantage of this unique situation.
Me and my buddies went out to Montana to go skiing. Just because we could. We all had online schedules. We can do school from there.
I went to Orlando, Florida, and some of the things that I did there was I went to the beach, I went to Epcot.
I think distance learning has been great to allow kids to travel wherever they want. It gives an extra flexibility that we never would have had if we were in school 5 days a week.
I think distance learning has made it so much easier to travel because now, instead of missing a whole week of school and falling behind, we can attend our classes through Zoom.
Without COVID-19, having these experiences and memories would not be possible. I would imagine that distance learning will be an option for at least a year or maybe even longer. So take that as you will, Eastview. Signing off for The Flash, this is Tom.
Wow, I guess it goes to show you really can do school from anywhere.
Yeah, it really does show that the past 364 days were not a waste.
Our next story is about the past 364 days.
Lucas has the story.
Where earlier we heard from the district offices that school will be closed starting March 16th through the 20th.
This upcoming Saturday will be 1 year since we had to go into distance learning for the first time. So many things have changed since then. Like students staying home for classes and just zooming in, or teachers having to make everything an online possibility. Students have had to change the way they've studied, and teachers have had to change the way they teach.
Well, one thing that I've been doing is I've been doing a lot more reading into the actual stuff and taking more in-depth notes. None of that baseline stuff.
Since COVID started, I've gotten a lot better at planning all my due dates out, knowing when stuff is due, and getting it all done on time.
Something that's really on students and faculty's mind right now is, what does next year hold for us?
I think it'll be similar to how it was before, but we'll keep a couple things like masks and washing hands and a lot more hand sanitizer. But in terms of during sports like basketball, where they have to wear masks all the time, we'll start to see those go away.
I think the biggest change will just be changes in homework maybe, because I feel like we've gotten less homework this year because a lot of the work we do in class is stuff we get as homework, so we don't get homework piled on top of that. Even though sometimes we still do get busy work, I feel like a lot of the busy work may go down.
Signing off for The Flash, this is Lucas.
Hey Cooper, what's something positive you got from the pandemic?
The only positive that I can think of is the fact that nobody can see my face.
Well, I'm glad that's at least something.
And that brings us to our last story about some positives from this past year with the pandemic.
One thing I'm grateful for that happened during the pandemic is being able to play music more frequently. I'm a cellist, and prior to the pandemic, I never really had any time to practice, and rehearsals were really spread out over long periods of time. So since the pandemic, it's been nice to be able to play more and connect with other musicians more.
I've been able to work a lot more, which means I've been able to make a lot more money and keep myself busy.
One good thing that's come from the pandemic is probably just the amount of time I've been able to spend with my family and just getting close to them and stuff like that.
I think the best thing that's happened during the pandemic is just like how you get to wear the mask and not really worry about what you look like for the most part. Just make whatever like strange faces you want.
For me, I've started to create like a routine. So every day now I like get up around the same time and I like eat breakfast. And I have activities on the same days at the same times. So I'm really getting into like a routine and being able to like successfully like move my life forward that way.
Well, that's all we have for you today, Eastview.
Have a nice day. Don't worry about the credits. See you next week.